Sunday's game against Saracens was the last in a first block of 6 Premiership games. How would you assess our progress in that first block?
Obviously disappointed with the weekend. We all know Saris are a good team and they thoroughly deserve their victory. They were the better team in all aspects, but disappointed the way we played. I think, we didn't really get our game going, really. Got to give Saris a lot of credit, but I think that would be a little bit of leaving ourselves off the hook a little bit as well. I think Saris are a good team. We all know what they do, but we certainly didn't fire our own shots. But in saying that, 5 out of 6, and been to some difficult places, been to obviously Leicester and Northampton, come away with wins and beaten Exeter at home as well. So, we've had a really good start, and we certainly would have settled for that before, really. So we put ourselves in a good position, but it is exactly that. It's just a start.
We move into the European Champions Cup this Saturday. Has that helped to refocus the squad ahead of a tough weekend?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, we all know we didn't do ourselves justice last week, and we all know what a difficult game this is. But as I've constantly said, really, it takes you 10 months to get into this competition, so you certainly don't want to leave it go lightly, really, and you want to make sure you perform really well. Now, on paper, this should be a win for us, and this should be a comfortable win for us. That doesn't necessarily going to be the case. A lot of experience within their team, a big heavy mob, typical Italian, and how they play the game. They're always going to have a good scrum, always going to have a good driving line-out, and if they spend big periods inside your 22, they pick and go game because they're a big heavy mob is going to cause you problems. What we need to do is play rugby at a pace and get through the phases, so they'll struggle to keep up with us if we play the game that we want to.
We reached the semi-finals last year. You always cite that the goal is improvement. How important is it that we start that on the right foot this Saturday? Well,
after 2 games, you still want to be in a position where the group is well and truly in your hands, really, and it has to start at home. It has to start at home. We have to come away with this game with 5 points. Anything less than 5 points, I think we was going to be seen to be a failure, really, and that's not being disrespectful. That's just being honest. I think everybody would have us down for a win here. So it's up to us now. As I said, the underdog tag for every game we play is gone, and we've earned that, and we've got to be comfortable with it, but we've got to go out and make sure we play like we can. If we play like we can, obviously, we should have too much for it, but we have to build. We can't go out there and chuck it around. We have to be respectful, we have to build, we have to go take it as if we would any other game. We can't become loose, and hopefully have a really good professional performance.
You've got a strong side at your disposal this season. How many tough decisions are there going to be ahead of the weekend?
Well, there hasn't been too many this week because we've boys a lot of battered and bruised players this week, really. So we've been sensible with this week as well. But certainly, you've got to use your squad, and there's competition for places, and sometimes the guys are fully fit compared to somebody that's 80% fit. You're always going to go for fully fit guys. So there's a lot of things to take in consideration. But certainly, going into next week, we're hoping to get as many as our best players on the field, and it certainly would be the case moving forward, really. But we've got a really good team out this week, and a team that I believe can do the job for us and set us up for a real good start.
That strength in the squad is mirrored in the backroom staff. A lot more coaches at your disposal this year and more support staff.
Yeah, I think that we haven't got any more than anybody else. I think that's the first thing to say, really. We've operated in years gone by on a little bit of a skeleton staff, and it's been enough to get us to a position where we can be competitive. But at the real top end, you're talking of fine margins, and little things make a big bit of difference. And with only 1 or 2 coaches, or one or 2 physios, 1 or 2 conditioners, you can't get that little 5%, really. So that's the difference. It's not going to turn us in, to a brilliant team overnight, but it's certainly, I believe, in the old regime, we've got to a position where we're competitive. Now these finer bits are only little 5%ers, which I hope in the attention to detail, can help us bridge that little 5% difference between us getting through at the latter stages and not getting through.